Welcome back to Library Dress. So in today's class, we're going to learn this beautiful Ankara waistcoats that we have here. You can use any fabric of your choice for it as well. But this Ankara waistcoat offers a fitted sleeveless design with a front button closure, and it's perfect for adding a cultural flair to both formal and casual outfit. It's a very simple tutorial. I'm going to take you through how to cut and sew this. If this is something you like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. Okay, so to make this waistcoat, I've already marked my lines. You can see the first line you need to mark, remember, is going to have a button at this front, at the center front. So for that button you need an allowance. So for me, I need 1 inch button allowance for mine, so which is what I have marked from this center. You can see. So let me just label this my button allowance. It's very important. Okay, so after marking out your button allowance, all other measurements will start from there. So this is my handle, this is my bust point, this is my waist, and this is where I want the blouse to stop, which is my blouse length. Okay, so for my handle, my actual handle is 9 inches. I added half an inch to it for ease because it's a sleeveless and I don't want it too tight. So here I marked my shoulder measurement, which is 16 divided by 2, 8 inches, and at that point I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. The neck width that I'm working with is 3 inches. So remember, all your measurements is now from this button allowance, not from the starting point. Okay, so here again I mark the 8 inches so that I can have a straight line for my button for my armhole. Sorry. So we are going to be using this same pattern to cut the front and back. So here I'm trying to get the midpoint so that I can mark out my armhole measurement. So there I came in by half an inch. Here on this line I'm going to mark my bust measurement. My bust is 38 divided by 4 is 9.5. I'm going to add half an inch for his. You can add as much as you want. So that's going to leave me with 10 inches. Then after that I'm going to add my seam allowance. Okay, so after that I'll take my curved ruler and then connect all of this together for my armhole. That's for the front, and then for the back armhole I'm just going to connect like this. I'm not going to go in by half an inch. So what you just need to do is to connect from there, and then you just connect with your ruler like this. I hope you understand that. So now after that, the next measurement I'm going to be taking is my neck depth measurement. For the front I'm going to just use 3 inches tentatively, and then 1.5 inches for the back. So this is my back and this is my front armhole, although the front armhole is still going to change. So the next thing now is to start the shape that the waistcoat is going to take. So for me, for the side of the waistcoat, this is the full length of the waistcoat, but the side is not going to be the same as the full length because of the shape that we're going to have. So for the side, I want the total length of the side to be around 19 inches, which is here. So that's like 2.5 inches from my waist. So here I'm going to mark that. So here is where my side measurement is going to stop. So now I'll take my round measurement. So my bust is 10 with allowance, and then I'm going to add my seam allowance to that. My waist is 7.5, that's 30 with allowance. I'm going to add that to this, so I'll add 1 inch for my dart. I'm then going to go to my 8.5, and then I'm going to add my seam allowance to that. So on my full length here for this side, I'm going to use the same measurement that I used for my waist. Altogether that's 9.5 inches. Remember, I'm taking that measurement from here. So here I'm going to mark the 9.5 inches as well, and then I'm going to take my ruler and then connect all of this together. Okay, so now the next thing is to reconcile this with my blouse length for the front. So for that, for the opening that I'm going to have in front, I'm going to mark in 2 inches. Depending on how open you want it to be, you can do 2.5 inches, but remember this is a half scale, so if you are doing 2 inches, it means we are going to have around 4 inches. So 2 inches is fine for me. So here I'm going to mark the 2 inches and then take my ruler to connect it to this side. I hope you understand that. Okay, so now for the button allowance, for the front neckline, it's a V neckline, so here you're going to mark the depth that you want for your front neckline. For me, around 10 inches is fine for me. So here I'm going to mark my 10 inches for my neckline allowance, and then I'm going to take my ruler. I'll just use this straight ruler tentatively. If you have a very good old ruler that can do that for you, you can use that as well. Now I'm going to use this straight ruler and I'll connect like this for my neck measurement. So now I'm going to mark this as my button allowance. Okay, so now on this part as well, because of that shape that I want there, from this side I'll just come up by around 1 inch. Okay, from the side measurement here, I'll just come off by around 1 inch here, and then I'm going to take my ruler and then connect it to the full length measurement back. So you can see this is the shape that we are going to have for the front. So like I said, you're going to use the front to cut out the back as well. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of this, and when we are done with cutting the back, I'm going to cut out what I need. So you can also cut your back armhole as well. Okay, so now I'm going to cut out the shoulder slope. You can cut the back neckline as well. So to cut the back, because there's no button allowance at the back, so we're going to fold in our button allowance like this. Okay, we're going to fold in our button allowance, and this is what we're going to have. Then after that, where the side stops, okay, where the side measurement stops is where the back length is going to stop. So for that as well, I'm going to fold that part in as well. So this is the pattern that I need for my back. Before then, remember we added that allowance to this, so I'm just going to mark out. You can mark out your that on your pattern, or you go ahead and mark it on your fabric. Just mark it out on my fabric here. So for that, from your center front, you're going to mark your bust span measurement. So here is my bust span, and then I'm going to connect that to my bust point. So you just connect that 1 inch before your bust point. It doesn't have to go all the way to your bust point for the front, and then for the back you stop it at your chest line. So here is my that. So on the waist, remember I added 1 inch to the measurements for that, so I'll take half an inch on both sides, and then I'm going to connect that to what I marked. And then here you can connect it like this, or you just mark it down like we have done for the first time. Okay, so this is what my dart looks like. Now I will fold it and bring in my fabric to cut this out. Here you can see that I have laid my pattern on the fabric, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it. So you can add your allowances round as you are cutting on your fabric. Okay, and here I'm going to add half an inch as well for hemming. So on this side, I'm not going to add any allowance by this side because we already have our seam allowance on this side. So that is what I'm going to use. So after cutting out the back like this, I'm going to detach the pattern, but before then just try to notch your dart where your dart is going to be, and then you take out your pins. So now I'm going to open this out and then cut out the shape that I need for my front. Sorry. So here I'm cutting I don't want the neckline to be too straight, so you can see I just curved it a little bit because I'm not with my curved ruler. So that's the neckline I'm working with. I'm going to cut out the armhole as well. For the front, and then you're going to cut the shape of the hem for the front as well. Okay, so this is what the shape of the front looks like. So I'll just place it on my fabric now and cut. So again, I had to cut the front as well, you can see. So now after cutting it on the fabric, I had to lay my lining on it, and then I cut it out on the lining as well. I have cut out lining for my back as well, and then I'm going to notch where my dart is for the front too. So I'm going to detach this now, and I'm going to start to sew. So the first sewing that I'm going to do is to sew in my dart for both the lining and the main fabric. Okay, so you go ahead and sew in your dart. Then after that, let me just explain what I'm going to do. After sewing in my dart, I'm going to lay the fabric like this. So I'm sewing the right side and the wrong side and the line. I'm sewing the lining and the main fabric separately. So I'll join the shoulder, and then I'm going to turn the armhole as well. Okay, so I have gone ahead to sew in the dart. Okay, I sewed the dart for the lining and the main fabric separately. Then after that, I laid my lining on my main fabric, and then I sewed the neckline, I sewed the center front, I sewed the hem as well as the armhole. The only side opened is my side. Okay, so this is for the front. This is the second part of the front. After sewing in your dart, you're going to go ahead and sew your neckline, that's your main fabric and your lining, so that you can turn it neatly. You sew the center front, you sew the hem as well as the armhole. So the only part opened is the side and the shoulder. So for the back as well, I sew in my neckline for the back, I sew in the hem as well as the armhole. So this is my neckline, you can see this is the neckline, this is the armhole. I sew that as well as my hemline. So anywhere you have curves like your neckline area, you are going to notch it so that I can relax well, and then I'm going to turn them now and take it to the ironing table to iron. So you just notch your armhole area, your neckline, anywhere that is curvy, so that's not going to be looking bulky by the time you flip and turn it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm notching it, and then I'll go ahead and iron this and bring it back to show us how to turn the shoulder and the side. Okay, so I've gone ahead to iron it. This is the back, and these are the two front sides. So now the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do now is to turn the shoulder. So to turn the shoulder, we're going to lay the front and back against each other. Remember, we have already turned the hem, so we cannot pass through the hem. We have also turned the armhole, so I'm going to be passing through the side that is still opened like this. So after laying it against each other like this, right side facing right side, so you just dip your hand on one of the side, that front or back, and then you're going to bring it inward like this. So when you bring it, this is what you're going to have. So you make sure you have your right side followed by the main fabric followed by the main fabric, and then the lining followed by the lining. You arrange it well like this and go ahead to sew on your sewing machine. So you can see now that I have turned it, and you can see that the shoulder is neatly turned as well. So the last thing to do now is to sew in your side seam. So you can actually place them against each other like this and go ahead to sew, and use your serger to clean the edges, or you can also sew it like we did for the shoulder. So you just take your right side together like this, your linings and your fabric together. So the fabric is going to be together like this, and you are going to sew it, and then you're going to sew the lining separately as well. So you sew as much as you can, and then you leave small space to turn. So you do the same thing for the other side as well. But if you don't want to do that, you can just place them on each other, sew, and then you use your serger to clean it off, or you do French seam. Okay, so I have gone ahead to sew it, and you can see I just have this small space left. So I'll just close it up by sewing, or you use your hemming gun. The same thing for the other side as well. So this is what the inside looks like now. You can see how clean it is looking. So I'll go ahead and iron it for the final time. Then for the front part here, where you have your button allowance, you're going to fix your button and make a button hole there as well. And this is what the coat looks like now. Okay, so this is what the front looks like, and this is what it looks like on the back. You can see that the length of the back is not as long as what we have in front. So I'll just take it to the same mannequin now, and then I'm going to pin it here so that we can see what it looks like. This is what it looks like on the mannequin. You just need to open a button and a button hole on the places that we have dedicated to it. You can see how beautiful it is and how simple it is to make this. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment and subscribe to our channel, and I will